Chapter 15, Lesson 2, Simplest Form. Now, in order to find the simplest form, we have two things we have to do. We need to find the GCF of the numerator and the denominator, and then divide the numerator and the denominator by the GCF. So, first thing we have to do is find the GCF. And GCF is greatest common factor. That's right. So I'm going to list the factors here. Okay, I'm going to list the factors. So I've got 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So those are my factors for 6. My factors for 16, 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Remember, I used my divisibility rules from Chapter 13, Lesson 1, and I used Chapter 13, Lesson 2, how to find GCF. So, the GCF is in fact 2. That's my GCF. Okay. Now, what is the GCF of 5 and 7? So if I list the multiples of 5 and I list the multiples of 7, or not, excuse me, I list the factors of 5, I get 1 and 5. If I list the factors of 7, I get 1 and 7. So what's the greatest common factor? Well, you guessed it, it's 1. So if I have a greatest common factor of 1, what that tells me is I don't have to do anything. It already is in simplest form. So 5/7 is in fact in simplest form. I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. Okay? Alright, so 27 and 36. Now I'm going to use my vast knowledge of basic facts, to come up with what is my GCF of 27 and 36. So let's say I'm going to divide by, what do you think I should divide by? 9? Yeah, so if I divide this by 9, and I divide here by 9, that gives me 3/4. It gives me 3/4. And 3/4 is in simplest form, so I know that that is my answer. So 27/36 in simplest form is in fact 3/4. I apologize for the technical difficulties here. So my answer is 3/4 because I divided both by 9s. Now, could I have divided both by 3? Yeah, and I would have came up with 9/12. So then I would divide it by 3 again, and got the same thing. All right, so I want you to try 18 over 30, and I want you to try 17 over 51. Good luck. So here's what I got for answers. I looked at these, both were even, so I divided, or 18 and 30 were both even, so I decided to divide by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9, 30 divided by 2 is 15. Only to turn out, I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's not quite small one, or that's not simplified enough. So I can divide both of these by 3. And how do I know I can divide them by both by 3? That's right, because when I add the digits together, it's a multiple of 3. So I'm using those divisibility rules way back from Chapter 13, Lesson 1. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now, if you divided by 6, you saved yourself a little bit of work, because 18 divided by 6 is 3. 30 divided by 6 is 5. Now, 17 51sts. I had to list my multiples here. 1 and 17, 1, 3. Now, how did I get 3? That's right, because 5 plus 1 is 6. And when the sum of the digits is a multiple of 3, then the 51 is divisible by 3. So I divided 51 divided by 3 and got 17. Hey, 17 is my GCF, my greatest common factor. 17 divided by 7 is 1. 51 divided by 17 is 3. And that's how I came up with 1/3. One more. 20 over 40. So your first instinct here is just to go 2 because it's even. Or your first instinct may be, well, you know, let's just do 10 because they both end in 0. And that seems like a reasonable number sounds reasonable to do. Okay? So 10 divided by 20 is 2. 40 divided by 10 is 4. Am I finished yet? No, I'm not. I still have further to go. So let's what's the greatest common factor of 2 and 4? Well, if you guessed 2, you are absolutely correct. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 20/40 is also known as 1/2. Now you get to try 36 and 48. Let's see if you can try it by using the greatest common factor as opposed to a couple of common factors. I came up with 3/4. The greatest common factor of 36 and 48 is 12, and 36 divided by 12 is 3, 48 divided by 12 is 4, and that's how I came up with 3/4. You could have divided by 2, and then you could have divided by 2 and then divided by 3, because that gives you 12, or 2 and 6, or 3 and 4, or 4 and 3, any combinations of numbers. But as long as you came up with 3/4, you're good to go. So here's what the bell work looks like for tomorrow. Good luck, and see you tomorrow.